If you're over 50 and you've been told that squats are the king of all lower body exercises, I'm about to challenge that belief in a very big way. What if I told you that for many people over 50, squats might actually be slowing your progress, irritating your knees, aggravating your lower back, and failing to activate your glutes the way you think they are? And what if I told you there are 4 glute exercises that can be safer, more effective, and better suited for your body right now, helping you walk stronger, protect your joints, and even reduce back pain without grinding your knees into the ground? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at squats the same way again. Let's start by clearing up a major misconception. Squats are not a bad exercise. They are a powerful movement pattern. But the problem is that squats are often taught as a one-size-fits-all solution, and your body at 50, 60, or beyond is not the same body you had at 25. Over time, many adults develop limited ankle mobility, tighter hips, weaker glutes, and more sensitive knees and lower backs. When you put all of that into a deep squat pattern, the movement often shifts away from the glutes and into the knees and spine. Instead of building strong, protective glute muscles, many people end up reinforcing compensation patterns that lead to pain. The goal of training over 50 is not to chase exhaustion or copy what younger athletes are doing. The goal is to build strength where you need it most, in a way your joints can tolerate and recover from. And that brings us directly to the glutes. Your glutes are not just butt muscles for appearance, they are the engine of your lower body. Strong glutes help you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, walk with confidence, protect your knees from collapsing inward, and support your lower back. As we age, the glutes are one of the first muscle groups to weaken if they are not trained intentionally. This leads to what many experts call glute amnesia, where the muscles stop firing effectively. When that happens, other areas like the lower back and knees are forced to pick up the slack. This is why so many people over 50 experience knee pain during squats or feel their lower back more than their legs. The solution is not always to push harder or squat deeper. Often, the solution is to choose movements that directly target the glutes with more control and less joint stress. The first glute exercise that is often better than squats for people over 50 is the hip bridge. This movement looks simple, but don't let that fool you. The hip bridge places your spine in a supported position on the floor, which immediately reduces stress on the lower back. Your knees stay in a relatively comfortable angle, and the main job is to squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. This allows you to truly feel the glutes working, something many people never experience during squats. When done correctly, the hip bridge retrains your nervous system to activate the glutes again. That mind-muscle connection is critical as we age. You're not just building muscle, you're teaching your body how to move efficiently again. The key here is control. You lift the hips slowly, squeeze the glutes at the top, and lower with intention. This kind of tension is far more valuable than rushing through repetitions. As you build strength with hip bridges, you're also reinforcing proper hip extension, which is the primary job of the glutes. This directly carries over to walking, standing up, and even reducing strain on the lower back. Many people are shocked to discover that after a few weeks of consistent hip bridges, everyday movements feel easier and more stable. And unlike squats, which can aggravate knee pain for some individuals, hip bridges are generally very joint-friendly. This makes them an excellent foundational exercise, especially if you're returning to exercise after a long break or dealing with chronic aches. The second glute exercise that often outperforms squats for adults over 50 is the step-back lunge, also known as a reverse lunge. Traditional forward lunges and squats both require the knees to travel forward significantly. For aging knees, that forward pressure can be uncomfortable or even painful. The step-back lunge changes the mechanics in a very important way. By stepping backward instead of forward, you shift more of the load into the hips and glutes of the front leg. This reduces stress on the knee while increasing glute activation. What makes this movement especially powerful is that it also challenges balance and coordination, which are crucial skills to maintain as you age. Falls are a major risk for older adults, and exercises that safely train single-leg strength can be incredibly protective. The step-back lunge allows you to move slowly, maintain control, and build strength without the jarring forces that often come with squats. You can hold onto a chair or wall for support if needed, making this exercise accessible at almost any fitness level. Over time, this movement helps restore confidence in your legs and improve stability in real-world situations like stepping off a curb or navigating stairs. The third glute exercise that deserves far more attention than squats is the cable or banded pull-through, or a simple hip hinge with resistance. The hip hinge is one of the most important movement patterns for healthy aging. It teaches you how to bend at the hips while keeping the spine neutral, which protects your back during daily activities like picking things up from the floor. Squats are often misperformed as a knee-dominant movement, especially by people with tight hips. The hip hinge shifts the focus back where it belongs, onto the glutes. When you perform a pull-through or a banded hinge, the resistance pulls your hips backward, encouraging a deep stretch in the glutes and hamstrings. As you stand up, you drive the hips forward using your glutes, not your lower back. This creates powerful glute engagement without compressing the spine. Many adults over 50 find this movement far more comfortable than squats, especially if they have a history of back discomfort. It also reinforces proper posture and spinal alignment, which can improve how you carry yourself throughout the day. Over time, this exercise can help reduce back fatigue and improve overall strength in a way that feels sustainable rather than draining. The fourth glute exercise that is often better than squats is the lateral band walk or side stepping movement. This exercise targets the gluteus medius, a smaller but critically important muscle on the side of your hips. The gluteus medius plays a major role in stabilizing the pelvis and keeping the knees aligned during walking and standing. When this muscle is weak, the knees tend to collapse inward, increasing the risk of knee pain and injury. Squats do not always effectively target this muscle, especially if form is compromised. Lateral band walks directly address this weakness. With a resistance band around your legs, you step sideways under control, keeping tension on the band the entire time. This lights up the side glutes in a way that most people have never experienced. Strengthening this area can dramatically improve balance, reduce knee strain, and enhance overall lower body function. For many adults over 50, this exercise becomes a game changer, helping them feel more stable and confident on their feet. And it's low impact, making it ideal for days when your joints feel sensitive but you still want to train effectively. Now, it's important to understand that this is not about completely eliminating squats from your life forever. The real takeaway is that squats are not always the best tool for the job, especially over 50. Strong glutes come from targeted, joint-friendly movements that respect how your body changes with age. Another critical factor to consider is recovery. As we get older, recovery becomes just as important as the workout itself. Exercises that place excessive stress on your joints can increase inflammation and prolong soreness, making it harder to stay consistent. The exercises we've discussed today are not only effective, but also more forgiving. They allow you to train the glutes frequently without beating up your body. Consistency is what drives long-term results, not pushing through pain or forcing movements that your body resists. You should also pay attention to how you feel during and after these exercises. A good glute workout should leave you feeling worked, but not wrecked. You should notice improved stability and strength over time, not lingering joint pain. This is especially important over 50, when the goal is longevity, independence, and quality of life. Strong glutes support everything from posture to walking speed and even reduce the risk of falls. Now let's also briefly touch on what not to do. Avoid rushing through repetitions just to feel tired. Avoid locking your joints aggressively at the top of movements. Avoid ignoring pain signals, especially sharp or persistent pain in the knees or lower back. And most importantly, avoid thinking that harder always means better. Smarter training almost always wins in the long run, particularly as we age. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this. Building strong glutes is one of the best investments you can make in your body after 50, and you don't need to rely on squats to do it.
By focusing on hip bridges, step-back lunges, hip hinges, and lateral band walks, you can train your glutes more directly, protect your joints, and move with greater confidence every single day. To wrap this up, squats are not the enemy, but they are not always the best tool for the job, especially over 50. Strong glutes come from targeted, joint-friendly movements that respect how your body changes with age.
Let's go deeper now and really unpack why these 4 glute exercises matter so much after 50 and how to actually use them in a way that transforms how your body feels and moves. One of the biggest mistakes people make at this stage of life is chasing intensity instead of quality. They think if an exercise doesn't leave them breathless or sore the next day, it must not be working. But for the nervous system and joints of someone over 50, effectiveness is about precision. When you perform a movement that places tension exactly where it belongs, especially in the glutes, you get better results with far less wear and tear. That's the hidden advantage these exercises have over squats for many people. When you lie on the floor and perform a hip bridge, something very important happens neurologically. Your body feels safe, the spine is supported, balance is not a concern, and the movement is simple. This allows the brain to focus on activating the glutes instead of protecting you from falling or stabilizing a heavy load. For many adults, especially those who sit a lot, the glutes have essentially gone offline. They're present, but they're not contributing the way they should. Hip bridges bring them back online. Over time, this improves posture and reduces the tendency to overuse the lower back during daily activities. Many people notice that even standing and walking feels smoother after consistent glute-focused training. As you progress, the real benefit comes from slowing the movement down. Rushing through exercises is one of the fastest ways to shift tension away from the muscles you're trying to train. With hip bridges, a slow lift, a strong squeeze at the top, and a controlled lower builds strength in a way that feels almost therapeutic. This is especially valuable if you've dealt with chronic stiffness or morning aches. You're not just exercising, you're restoring a movement pattern your body desperately needs. Now, when we move into step-back lunges, the conversation shifts to how your body handles load one side at a time. Life is rarely symmetrical. You step, climb, and turn on one leg more than the other every single day. Squats train both legs at once, which can allow a stronger side to dominate. Step-back lunges expose imbalances in a safe and manageable way. By stepping backward, you reduce the shock to the knee joint and place more responsibility on the glutes of the front leg. This teaches the hip to absorb force, which is critical for joint protection as we age. Another overlooked benefit of this movement is confidence. Many adults over 50 unconsciously move more cautiously because they don't trust their balance or strength. Controlled lunges rebuild that trust. You learn that your legs can support you, stabilize you, and move you safely through space. This psychological component is just as important as the physical one. Feeling strong and stable reduces fear of movement, which in turn encourages a more active lifestyle. The hip hinge and pull-through pattern deserves special attention because it directly addresses one of the most common sources of pain in adults over 50, the lower back. Most back discomfort is not caused by the spine being weak, but by it being forced to move too much because the hips are not doing their job. When you hinge properly, the glutes and hamstrings take the load, allowing the spine to remain stable. This is the opposite of what happens in poorly performed squats, where the back often rounds or overextends. Practicing the hinge with bands or cables creates a consistent resistance curve that encourages proper mechanics. You feel the stretch in the glutes as the hips move back, and you feel their power as you stand tall. Over time, this improves your ability to lift objects, carry groceries, and perform daily tasks without strain. Many people are surprised to find that back pain diminishes not because they avoided movement, but because they finally trained the right muscles to support their spine. Then there's the lateral band walk, which may look simple, but addresses a massive gap in traditional training. The side glutes are essential for keeping the pelvis level when you walk. If they're weak, your hips shift, your knees collapse inward, and stress travels up and down the chain. This is a recipe for knee pain, hip discomfort, and even foot issues. Squats alone rarely fix this problem. Lateral movements do. When you perform side steps with a band, the constant tension forces the glute medius to work continuously.
This builds endurance as well as strength. Over time, this translates to better balance, smoother walking, and a noticeable reduction in joint stress. For many adults, this is the missing link that finally makes their lower body feel coordinated again. What ties all of this together is intention. These exercises are not about how much weight you can lift or how many reps you can rush through. They're about reconnecting with your body, strengthening key muscles, and building resilience. When done consistently, they create a foundation that supports everything else you do, whether that's gardening, traveling, playing with grandchildren, or simply moving through your day without pain. It's also important to remember that your body adapts based on what you repeatedly ask it to do. If you constantly force it into movements that cause discomfort, it learns to protect itself by limiting range and tightening muscles. If you train it with controlled, glute-focused exercises that feel strong and stable, it adapts by becoming more capable and confident. This is the long game of health and fitness after 50, and it's where real results come from.